But let's talk about one Mr. Anthony Joshua, who's made his search for a new trainer very public, which is kind of odd. I mean, I don't think I've ever recalled a fighter doing this. Now, I know we're in the social media era and stuff like that, but even then, I still haven't seen something like this. But he stated in an IFL interview, shout out to them, by the way, that he's tired with effing losing. And he's on a search for a new trainer. So, I want to get your guys' thoughts about this. What do you think about what Joshua's been saying here? Gail, I want to start with you. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry, guys. It's an interesting way he's gone about this. I applaud his transparency. We don't know if he's had a discussion with McCracken or not and is carrying on his business. I hope he has. I hope he's been man enough to do that and say, listen, I thank you for getting me to this point. I need a change. He owes him that at the very least. I do think it's interesting that he's practically auditioning trainers. I'm not sure he has a good sense of his worth. Some trainers, no matter how visible he is, they've got other fish to fry. They've got other priorities. They need to come to an agreement. It's not as if he crosses the threshold of their gym and they're just dying to bring him in. My concern also is, AJ is not exactly visiting Omaha and Philadelphia. He's visiting LA and Las Vegas. I have my doubts about his desire to keep going. How hard does he really want to work? The truth is he can make money in a whole lot of other ways. He is an absolute superstar. He is the LeBron James of Great Britain. He is recognized on the street. He's an influencer in his own right. He's a celebrity way beyond sport. There's a lot of easier ways for that man to make money. I mean, if nothing else, modeling, he'd make a fortune. I think he needs to carry on in boxing through, I would think sheer pride alone would keep him going. But I worry about his motivation. At his level of the sport, it is very, very tough. He's got to be in with the right guy. The Reynoso camp's not the right place for him. The work ethic, the culture, it's not it. I really don't think Southern California is a good spot for him. There's a lot of distractions in the entertainment industry that would be very alluring to him, which I am sure is exactly why he's there. No, he needs to be somewhere like Philly. He needs to be somewhere where he gets up in the morning to go out and do his road work, and it's just he's freezing his ass off. He needs to be toughened up a little bit. And Southern California, I get it. There's a lot of good sparring. All right, fly him out here, let him do his sparring, let him go back to whatever, dirty, broken down gym he's in. I don't know that Bomac would take him in, but he can't get in a lot of trouble in Omaha or Colorado Springs. But, he's not visiting those garden spots.
Yeah. Gales wants AJ to go out there and survive the elements like Rocky V. Go out there, chop wood in the snow.
Toughen that boy, toughen him up, toughen his hide up.
There you go. She's old school, baby. I like it. So 408, Dave, I want to know your thoughts on this, man. What do you think about AJ saying that he's tired of effing losing and he's on a public search for a new trainer, man? What do you think?
First I want to applaud him because that post era when he fought Andy Ruiz and lost, he sought out sports therapists to help him with what he thought it was kind of broken up here, right? And not too many fighters do something like that. That took a lot of courage to get help there. But now he's got something broken again, and now he thinks it's his training. So I applaud him for his sportsmanship after the last fight against Usyk. But I don't know if there's anyone in the U.S. that's going to help fix Anthony Joshua. Like, to me, what I see Anthony Joshua's main problem, and always has been, is that he's too bulky, too muscular, right? And he hasn't exactly found that right sweet spot in his weight where he needs to be that'll carry him the full 12 rounds. Because now he's facing guys like Usyk, who he's going to most likely have that rematch with, that do have that figured out and do have the stamina to outbox him for 12 rounds. So is it a strength and conditioning coach that he's really looking for? I mean, I don't know if he's going to find someone in the U.S. to help fix that specific issue, but I applaud him for trying. And I agree 100% with Gail. I like the idea of him going somewhere on the East Coast like Philadelphia. My co-host is from Philly, and we were on a panel, and they said, this guy sounds like every Philly boxing coach I've ever heard. So shout out to Drew for that. But I'm not too sure he's going to find what he's looking for, especially like Gail pointed out on the West Coast. There's way too many distractions, especially with Hollywood calling him. I mean, he's got that going on in the UK, and he's got that crossover appeal. And I kind of find that that's basically what's going on with Ryan Garcia too right now, is that he's got too many options.
Yeah. Ryan Garcia can make a shit ton of money a lot easier than being in the boxing ring. He can. Yep. So, folks, boxing's hard. It's hard. It's a really hard way to make money. Yeah. Until you get to the elite level, you're not making those big dollars. He's got enough followers on social media to monetize himself there with sponsorships, which he already is. He's making more money out of the ring than he is in the ring right now due to his commercial sponsorships.
Yeah, Gail, and to that effect, I mean, that generation right there is the generation that's nailed that, how to monetize your name, image, and likeness. I mean, they just have it down.
Absolutely
these fighters in their 30s, it's a different generation. They don't know how to do that.
Yeah, so good stuff, guys. I agree. And boxing is a very difficult sport. If I could quote Andrew Galata after his loss to Mike Tyson. But Beeb, I want to get your thoughts on this, man. Joshua's saying that he's fucking tired of losing, and he's out on a public search all over the internet, putting it everywhere that he's looking for a new trainer, man. What are your thoughts on this?
I agree with a lot of the people in the chat. I think he's soul searching right now. He's looking for answers. He's trying to reinvent himself. But people forget that just like Wilder, he started late too. He started around 18, 19 years old. Him and Wilder are just blessed with great fast twitch muscle fibers. They're both strong, athletic men. And I wouldn't say either one of them are pure boxers. So a lot of what Joshua had to overcome and learn, he was basically saying he was learning on the job, right? And he continues to say that, I'm still learning, I'm still learning, I'm still learning. So it's like he hasn't grasped, what it is to be as a champion and fight on that championship level. Like Tyson Fury, been boxing since he was a young boy. You could tell the difference from some of these guys who've been boxing since they were young children and the guys who started late. You can see the things that are missing in some of these older guys that started late. So it's going to be hard no matter who he works with. I'm not saying he can't get better, but to totally reinvent himself, it's going to be a tall task, in my opinion. And I don't know what he can do to beat Usyk, because when I watched that fight, I saw Usyk change things up like 3 or 4 times. I saw Joshua make one change from rounds 5 through 8, and that's when he went on his little run. I had him winning 5, 6, and 8. That's when he tried to be a little bit more aggressive. But then Usyk switched it up again on him, and he made himself small, and he went inside, and he didn't let Joshua have that space to turn that right hand over. He took the distance away from Joshua, right? So it's hard. I think Ronnie Shields could help him, but I don't know if he can beat Usyk. I just think it's tough, But I think Rob McCracken may have taken him as far as he can go, and Rob McCracken's so heavily involved in the amateur boxing side of things too. So I don't know how much time he's actually spending with Joshua, because I think in the Pulev fight he was working with the amateur team, I believe. And he wasn't really spending that much time with Joshua. So I'm wondering if there's a little bit of friction because of that. Who knows? But why not give something new a shot? See what happens. But I still don't know, and I'm not sure, and I'm skeptical if that's going to be enough. I'm not against it, though.
Yeah, okay. Good stuff there, Beam. Raw boxing. What do you think of this, man? Joshua on his search for a trainer and saying he's tired of losing?
3 things: new coach, strength and conditioning, sports psychologist. Why do I say sports psychologist? Yes, he sought out for therapy after the Ruiz loss, but I think it didn't do him well or didn't work with him long enough. Because when you see a man like AJ, as I said on my live stream, it's like when he sees danger approaching, it's like a deer on headlight. He freezes. It's like he doesn't move out of the way when he could easily move out of the way. And so I think there's still a little bit of tweak in here. Sports psychologist is definitely something that should be on your payroll constantly at that level, especially at that level. Strength and conditioning, I think if he can find a good coach to not so much tone him down, but to help increase the gas tank. Sometimes those muscles look like they can choke you, but and they can block better the blood flow through the muscles because of how swollen they get. But it all depends on the program. It all depends on the diet. It all depends on the road work then you're putting in. And as far as coach, I'm going to sound extremely biased, but I think, believe it or not, I mean, if you get somebody, look what Ismael Salas has done with Joe Joyce.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think Ismael Salas could help him, mainly because Ismael Salas can help him. Look at the work of Salas, how he helps his fighters dominate the mid distance, how he helps his fighter avoid getting cornered. And the guy knows what he's doing. He's produced 27 world champions. And so I think that's the guy for him. Somebody that's experienced both at amateur, both at a professional. I don't think Ronnie Shields is the guy for him, to be honest with you. I really don't. He needs somebody to get him out of that comfort zone that he's at. He needs to go to a rugged gym. He needs to go to somebody that's going to make him work without caring that he's AJ, the star from England. You know what I mean? That's it.
I like the Salas idea. The more I think about that, the more I like it. I mean, Buddy McGirt does have a track record for turning guys around at the end of their careers. You know, he has done it.
He does, yeah.
But I like the idea of him down in that atmosphere too, because if there's one place where nobody's going to look up at him as he walks down the street, it's in Florida. I mean, it's just like, it's another tall, good-looking dude. I mean, that's it. That would be a good culture for him. He also will be around a lot of young, hungry fighters, which might light a bit of a fire under him versus guys that he thinks of as his peers. Here are these young guys, hustling, making him, maybe look bad if he doesn't put on the hustle himself. The more I think about it, the more I like it. Done deal. Done. AJ Salas. Done.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really good pairing. I just don't know if he would do that, being that he's got Joe Joyce, who's kind of climbing the ladder at heavyweight. I mean, there could be a potential matchup between those two in the future, which I think is a really good fight.
Well, Reynoso has Sanchez and Ruiz, don't it?
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's this thing with AJ and his mainly is in his head, because AJ can box. AJ can box. If AJ can be psychologically tapped into seeing the punches coming and move or implement a defensive move, he would be a lot better. If AJ can control his emotions in there, his stamina will go up. I really think not only is his head coach, but one of the biggest issues with AJ his psychological the psychological barriers he puts on himself. It's very clear to me. I'm no expert, but I know a duck when I see a duck,
Maybe a little soft upstairs I mean, a lot of people are on that ship as well. I'll say this, man. I think that the one guy that I think would be perfect for AJ is just not with us anymore, and that's Manny Stewart. I feel like that would be a guy going down to that Crunk gym would be the perfect shakeup for him. Unfortunately, Manny Stewart passed away a few years back. And now his nephew is training Tyson Fury. So I don't see that happening because there's a potential matchup there as well. And they're still actually talking about making that fight because of all the money that can be made over there in the UK.
That would be.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like, here's what I question about the whole thing. Look, I'm okay with him coming out and saying, look, I'm tired of fucking losing. You know, I mean, I like the competitive nature. Like, nobody likes to lose when they're on this level, right? So I don't mind that. I just think that, I don't know, I kind of question the whole motivation behind this, like making it so public, you know? It's bizarre to me. Like, I've never seen a fighter do this. It's always been like when a guy changes trainers, like it's done behind closed doors. They have a meeting, they talk about it, and then they announce it. Yeah, we're going back in, we'll fight this guy, and I got a new trainer now. You know, like, it's just, I know, and I understand, again, we're in the social media era where there's a camera everywhere, you know, but I just feel like, I don't know, maybe I could be wrong, but I feel like maybe I don't know. I'm not feeling the whole thing, you know.
But also, we should not mistake that level of public honesty, so to speak, for weakness. This could actually help him. But what I was saying, to get AJ out of that comfort zone, y'all remember what Marvin Hagler used to say? You know, in order for me to stay focused, in order for me to fully focus on a fight, I have to go to prison. In prison, prison was his training camp, meaning he would even he eat boxing, breathes boxing, drinks boxing, wakes up and sees a punching bag, goes to the restroom, smells the sweat. You need to get celebrity AJ, King of England AJ, out of that status and throw him in the dirt. Put him through boot camp.
Gee, I want to go back to what you said about like him being public with this.
Sure, go ahead.
A lot of times when people do this, it's like they're almost crying out for help, number one. And number two, he's listening to a lot of the criticism, and it's almost like he wants to address the criticism, talking about like fighters, like fans are saying that he doesn't have the dog in him. People are saying that he needs to change his trainer. So now I think he wants to speak out to the fans and let him know that, you know, this is what I'm doing. You guys criticize me for this, this, and this. This is how I'm addressing this, this, and this. You know what I mean? So it's almost like he's trying to bare his soul to everybody, almost.
Yeah.
You know? Almost like a catharsis, you know?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. This is D-Style Boxing. Thank you for tuning in for this roundtable clip, part of the 8CP network. Thank you for being down with 8CP. Jab the like. Hit the cross to the subscribe. Throw an uppercut to the bell button for notifications. Share the video on your social media. Remember, hashtag 8CP. Make sure you catch the roundtable every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on the 8CP network rotation. Channels on the rotation are on the description below. Who's down with 8CP? Everybody.